Alright, friends, welcome to Web Design Workshop Lesson 1, first class. Let's get going. With this class, we're not going to look up anything really pertinent to writing HTML right now. We're going to look up what browsers are, which browser to use, what a text editor is, maybe answer a few questions such as, is HTML a programming language? Can we call ourselves programmers when we're writing it? Or we'll see, I guess. I think the first thing we should do is just look up or look at HTML in particular. Right here, HTML. Let's go backwards with this. So let's take it in reverse. We have language, which is the L. That makes sense. You know, we're writing a language of some sort. We're going to be doing something. Markup. When I think of markup, I think of, you know, taking a marker and maybe writing notes in the margin of something. And then hypertext. Hypertext may sound confusing, but it really is just, it's text that can do things. It's supertext. It's hypertext. And to illustrate that, let's go over to Wikipedia here. So I have a profile up of this young man, Channing Tatum. You can see here that he has some links to the Wikipedia pages of his movies, which are all fantastic. Clicking on these is a hyperlink, which is made up of hypertext. So anytime you see a Wikipedia page, it's covered in hyperlinks and hypertext. And really anytime you write an HTML program, you're writing, not a program, a web page, sorry guys. Anytime you're writing an HTML web page, you are writing hypertext. Okay, so let's get into this. HTML as a concept. What are we trying to do when we write HTML? I like to look at it as, you know, imagine that we're writing a textbook for a publisher and we need them to publish it fast. So they don't have time to read it or look through it or review it. What we're going to do is we're going to just kind of write in the margins here what the sections are that we've made so they know how to style it, you know, in their own in-house styling formats that they use. And then kind of go through our textbook really quickly and get the right format. Again, they're not going to read it, but they're not going to know, but they're going to know how to style it. To make it a little more clearly, HTML is that markup that you're writing. It's that code that tells, in this case, the computer what to style each page on. How should it look? How should it be? These tags here, this isn't HTML. This is something I made up. But it's important to note that HTML is written in this tag format. You know, so instead of jotting into the margins things of the web page, you surround everything in tags, such as this, bracket, things, bracket. We have a page, so this is a page, and we know that because it's surrounded by a page tag pair. So we know everything inside of this is part of the page. Meaning of life is surrounded by main titles, and so on and so forth. You know, everything is surrounded and everything means something, which is what we are concerned with HTML. So in HTML proper, these tags are referred to as elements. You are creating elements on a page. For our case, I like to just call them tags, but when you're learning it, you're going to hear tags and elements kind of used simultaneously, with elements being kind of pushed over it as the proper term. So a question that I kind of looked up for myself, and what a lot of people are looking up, is HTML a programming language? Are you learning how to program when you learn HTML, or are you learning something else? A lot of the programming languages that people learn, such as Java and C and even JavaScript, Python, Ruby, anything else really, they're going to be dealing with conditions, events, logic in that sense that tells computers what to do at a certain time and how to do things. What we're really doing is we're not really telling the computer what to do. We're not giving it conditions to do it. We're just telling it how to style something. So we're really more concerned with designing as we are with programming. And let me show you just how many programming languages there are. So this is a list of all the programming languages that are listed on Wikipedia. And unfortunately, guys, if we go down to HTML, where is it? It's not here. Nor is CSS. Which is okay, because I do consider this coding. Why? Because we're making code. When you do math problems, you make code. When you literally talk in any language on the face of this planet, you're making code. Streetlights are code. Clocks are code. HTML is code. We're coding. We're not really programming, but we are coding. And if that comforts you, cool. If that doesn't, here's a good thing. When you write HTML, you're kind of introduced to programming environments, such as a text editor, which we'll look at in a little bit, or a developer's environment. So if you do decide to start programming later on, this is going to be great. You're going to be familiar with the environment. You're not going to be familiar with the logic in the steps of programming, but you will be familiar with where it's taking place on.